I'm Mike Epstein, and I'm the singer and guitarist for The Motion Sick.
I'm Matt Girard. I'm bass player, singer, trumpet player, and a human.
It's a Victorian pirate slang term for people who are stowaways aboard a ship. We sort of like the idea of both stowaways and pirates, and so we thought we would use that and move forward from there. I had a bunch of songs that I had written and I was performing by myself, and I wanted to kind of turn that into a band project. And so as I was working in the studio, Matt became involved first as the engineer actually on the record, and then he ended up playing bass on the record. And so once that was done as a kind of studio project with a kind of a conglomerate of people and a bunch of different styles of music and sort of experiments and things, we decided to try to put together, a live act and start actually performing the material.
We did some Craigslist stuff, but surprisingly, the people we ended up meeting we already knew through other ways, so which probably worked out for the best.
Uh-huh.
So we only have like fist fights like every once in a while. So a gentleman named Travis Richter plays drums, and another individual named Patrick Musari, aka the Cheesemonger, or aka Starman.
Starman.
There is his various aliases, and he's the guitar player.
So basically I write the sort of initial idea, the kind of bare bones structure of the song, and then bring it into practice, and we all work to kind of arrange it and rebuild it from there to make it into something that makes sense for the band. So sometimes I have a good idea of what kind of style I'm going for, and sometimes we end up somewhere completely 100 miles away from that, right, where I had thought it was going. We all like a lot of different things. This is actually, I don't want to say it's a problem because it's actually, I think, a good thing, but we all like a really wide range of music, so we end up playing songs in a lot of different styles. So we have a bunch of songs that are kind of, heavy, noisy songs. We have a bunch of songs that are very poppy, a bunch that are kind of like alt-country sort of songs. So it's really a wide range of stuff. I've been spending a lot of time recently going back and listening to a lot of like 50s and early 60s pop music, because I think there's something about the art of songwriting that was really present in those days when they were performing the task of songwriting as almost like an occupation. I mean, essentially you had these songwriters working in a building saying, okay, what's going to appeal to people? What can I, structure together that's going to be most appealing to a general audience?
I've been playing trumpet, that's the instrument I started when I was a kid. And for a time I actually studied trumpet in college. I was a music student, so they forced me to play something, and trumpet I had more facility at the time than trumpet, so that's what I studied. And then I stopped playing for a variety of reasons, and Mike actually, I've been wanting to pick it up for quite some time, but the process is very daunting. And so Mike's like, I want trumpet, so practice. We're certainly working at trying to have more songs that incorporate the trumpet. I mean, the biggest problem is playing trumpet and bass at the same time, which can be hard, and there's a variety of ways I'm thinking about maybe working it out so it works. And I don't want to give away all my secrets, but I'm working on my Geddy Lee moves as we speak. Geddy Lee, the bassist from Rush, he actually had a series of pedals on the floor, and he would fret notes, and so he would play like keyboards with like one hand or two hands, and then like hit these bass notes with his feet, or like play a melody line and play just a hammer on bass stuff. And so, I mean, I suffered from every adolescent fantasy of being a rock star. I mean, my first band wasn't actually a band. It was my friends and I in junior high. None of us actually really knew how to play anything, but we already knew what we would play, and like how we would dress, and like all of those types of things. So clearly I had some thoughts about it at some point, and I have to be frank, I certainly don't have that illusion that any of that I'll be able to make a living making music, or at least being a player exclusively. I just think that the industry and the market for live music or recorded music even to a certain degree is just so it's turned into a very niche market. I feel like so. I sound really jaded, but I do it anyways because I mean I do love it, and I do love the process of creating things and doing new things that maybe hopefully no one's done before. But I think I'm pretty realistic about what one can do in the music world.
But the dream never disappears, right?
Right.
Yeah.
You always have to. You always have the sort of the dream in the back of your head. And,
Right.
I mean, I guess I've music has been very important to me for a very long time. Just you know, to keep me moving forward in life. So, you know, I feel like creating music is something that I couldn't really stop doing. It doesn't really matter if there's an audience or not. In some sense, I would still be, you know, working on things, especially writing songs. So I think it's really, in a sense, it's a great honor to be able to write songs and have people that are interested in listening to them. So I'm grateful for that.
As an addendum, I'm not so jaded as I sound. I mean, I'll still be like playing.
It's just a facade.
I'll still.
You're being realistic.
Like but like when I'm 40 or 50 or 60, you know, I'll still be wanting to like jam out with my kids if I have them, or the guys down the street. I mean, I still love playing.
I guess going back to the beginning, when I was first thinking about writing this song, the idea was to write a love song that incorporated... I was looking at trying to find a new angle for a love song, because there are so many love songs and I feel like everything's kind of been done. And so I came up with this idea of, well, how about a love song where you know, you love somebody so much that you'd like to spend multiple lifetimes with this person. That's a concept I hadn't previously heard. So I'm like, okay, I can either approach that from like a reincarnation point of view, which I wasn't all that interested in, or I thought of in video games you actually get multiple lives, like so you die but you know you come back and you live, but you have a limited number. And so I started thinking about that, trying to write a love song incorporating the kind of video game mechanism. And I came up with the idea of using this famous video game code, which is called the Konami code. And the idea is that when you enter that code, there are a bunch of different games it works for. The most famous one is Contra. And when you enter that code, you get 30 lives. And so in the song, essentially, that chant, the up, down, left, right, is the code for getting 30 lives. So the idea of the song is you know, using the code to spend 30 lives with somebody. And so Konami is the company that also makes Dance Dance Revolution. This is actually going somewhere. It's not.
Yeah. I can see where it goes.
So Konami is not only the company that used this code and made Contra, but they make this game Dance Dance Revolution. And the idea of the up, down, left, right, I thought this is great for the kind of dance moves you would have in Dance Dance Revolution. So immediately once we had the song going, I said, okay, if we make a dance remix of this song and get it to Konami, I think we can get it into the game.
Finished it, put it on the record, and it was odd. I think a lot of people saw that on the record when they initially started. Were like, "Why do you guys have a dance remix?" But we sent it to them, and I guess Mike probably knows the phrase directly. But they're like, "Wow, it's like we get lots of songs that use reference to our games, and this is like the most endearing and like novel use of that."
When I brought the song in the first time, I thought immediately these guys are going to think I'm completely insane, you know, saying I want to do this song, you know, mixing a video game and a love song. I thought immediately they're going to hate this thing. So I had in my head already that we needed to have a choreographed dance to it.
We already think we still think he's crazy.
But I didn't want to say it right away. So I kind of worked slowly. You know, I didn't want to bring up the dance remix or the choreography right away. So first I brought the song in. Once they were okay with that, I said, you know, how do you guys feel about adding some choreography to it? And they were okay with that. You know, how do you feel about doing the dance remix? So we thought it was a fun way to get, you know, the audience kind of involved in what we're doing, and we don't mind making fools of ourselves, really. So
we actually can be very good at it. But it's actually great because the song works on a lot of levels. That, I mean, you know, girls tend to like it because it's, you know, it's a love song, it's endearing. Guys love it because it's like, the Contra code! The code! And they love it. And so even if they normally wouldn't like that style of music or anything about it, the fact that we had that code in there means they love the song.